Level 1, $12 an hour. The schedule posts Sunday night and you check it before text, before news, because it decides whether you eat this week, 26 hours. Not the 32 you need. Not an explanation, just a number, generated by software that doesn't know your name, only your availability and your cost. You ask your shift lead if there's more. She shrugs. Corporate sets the budget, not her. You blame the app instead. The app doesn't care. Thursday, a customer complains about a price that isn't your fault. You apologize anyway because apologizing is faster than explaining, and explaining gets written up. You clock out 4 minutes late because the register wouldn't balance, unpaid, but 4 minutes early gets flagged. The math only runs one direction. You skip lunch Wednesday not by choice, doing the arithmetic between the rent number and the hours number in the break room until they don't meet. A coworker asks if you've eaten. You say you already did. You didn't. Hunger at this level is silent, the kind nobody sees because you've learned to perform full. You ask about health insurance. HR says you need 30 hours a week, averaged over 3 months. You're at 26. The number deciding whether you can see a doctor is set by an algorithm that has never met you. The district manager makes his one annual visit and doesn't know your name. He knows the labor percentage, the shrink numbers, the satisfaction score. You're a line in a spreadsheet he glances at for 4 seconds. You check your phone after your shift. A new hire just joined at the rate you've earned for 8 months. Loyalty bought you nothing. The company doesn't see you as an employee at $12 an hour. The company doesn't see you at all. You exist on their payroll. You don't exist in their attention. Level 2, $38,000. Coordinator. You have a badge with a title now, and the badge changes nothing except what people assume at parties. Raises happen once a year in March, and this March the pool was thin, company-wide, nothing personal, 2%, maybe 3%, with a good review. Inflation was 6%. You took a pay cut for showing up on time. You stay late finishing a deck nobody asked for but everybody needed by morning, unlogged anywhere. Salaried means the clock stopped mattering to them, the day it stopped mattering to you. You ask about a title change, something that costs the company nothing. HR says reevaluations happen in Q3. It's Q1. You apply elsewhere on your lunch break, the tab closes fast when someone walks by. Nobody notices you looking for a way out because nobody was watching closely enough to notice anything. A recruiter messages you on LinkedIn, your name misspelled, a role you're wildly underqualified for. A volume game. You're a name on a list, same as you are at work. You walk past your manager's office and hear her on a call defending someone else's raise, saying their name 3 times with warmth. She has never said your name that way. Not dislike. Habit. The company isn't cruel at $38,000, it's indifferent. Held long enough, indifference starts to feel exactly like being disliked. Level 3, $65,000. Specialist. Something shifts, not in the org chart and how fast people answer your emails. Not because your ideas improved, because your name now sits next to 3 years of not quitting, and reliability is the only trait this level rewards. A recruiter calls, an actual call, a role paying 12% more. You mention it to your manager, carefully. He asks you to stay, says he'll see what he can do. 2 weeks later, a 5% raise arrives, time to make you forget the recruiter's number without matching it. It works for a while. You're invited into a meeting one level above where you belong. Nobody explains why. You say one thing, and a director you've never spoken to nods at it, and you replay that nod all day, because at this level it means something. The company still doesn't know your first name in the all hands, but your manager uses it now, unprompted, in front of others. Recognition without warmth, service without effort. The middle ground where most careers stall, comfortable enough to stay, uncertain enough to keep checking LinkedIn on Sundays, just in case. Level 4, $95,000. Senior. A recruiter finds you Monday morning, not a mass send, a specific note referencing a project from 8 months ago. It pays more than you'd have asked for. You mention it in your one-on-one, not as a threat, just information, and your manager's face changes in a way you've learned to read. He asks for 48 hours. HR calls an unscheduled urgent meeting. A retention bump, a title bump, the project you'd been asking to lead for a year, granted without asking twice. You didn't get better at your job in 2 days. You got expensive to lose, and the company only moves fast for that. Your manager starts copying you on threads you weren't on before. Not because you need to know, but because leaving you out now carries risk. You're managed with more caution, not more respect, and the two get confused easily enough that you stop questioning which one you're getting. The company doesn't promote the best work. It promotes the most expensive absence. You didn't become someone else. The market's opinion of you changed, and the company started reacting to the market instead of to you. Level 5, $140,000. Manager. You get a mentor 2 levels up, whose time alone is a signal. He takes you to lunch, not the cafeteria, somewhere the company expenses without a second look, and asks about your 5-year plan. Nobody's asked that since your entry-level interview, when it was a formality. Now it's an investment thesis. HR emails you directly about a stretch assignment, relocation covered, a raise attached before you've said yes. You negotiate for the first time in your career and the number moves, not because you're clever, but because moving it costs less than losing you. A junior employee asks you for advice in the hallway, the exact conversation you once wished someone senior would have with you. You give it, and hear yourself sounding like the people who once made you invisible. Unsure yet if that's growth or just proximity rubbing off. Your badge still says the same company. Everything else about how the building treats you has quietly rewritten itself. Level 6, $220,000. Senior Director. Your name starts appearing in slides other people present. You're in the room before decisions become decisions, which means you're in the room for the version of the truth that never gets written down. A rival recruiter offers a package that would take 3 raises to match internally. You mention it once in passing to your VP. Within a week, without formal negotiation, your equity refreshes, your title expands, a direct report is added you didn't request. The counteroffer arrives before you've built the leverage to demand one. At a leadership offsite, you notice how small the room actually is, how few people this treatment extends to. Junior employees imagine this floor is where hard work eventually lands everyone. It isn't. It's where the company decided the cost of losing someone finally outweighed the cost of investing in them, and that has very little to do with hours worked. Level 7, $450,000. Vice President, the board knows your name before you're introduced. Compensation is discussed in committee now, with benchmarking data, treating your value as a market rate rather than a review. An assistant manages your calendar because the company has decided your attention is worth protecting. A rival CEO calls you directly, no recruiter between you, testing whether you're extractable. You don't take it, you mention the call, in passing, to your own CEO, and the mention alone reshapes your next equity grant without you asking for $1 more. The company isn't rewarding your work anymore, it's insuring against your absence. Those used to feel like the same thing. At this level you can finally see the difference because you're the one being priced. Level 8, $1,800,000. Chief Executive Officer. You don't apply for things anymore. Things get built around whether you'd approve of them. The board doesn't manage you, it consults you, and somewhere in that shift, the company you work for and the company you shape became the same sentence. A junior director 2 rungs down pitches an idea, nervous, overprepared, the way you once were in front of someone who barely knew your name. You remember exactly how that felt. You have 30 seconds to decide whether this room will feel to her the way that room once felt to you. That decision is the only real difference between this level and the one you started at. The company isn't a system doing something to you anymore. You are the system, doing something to whoever stands where you used to stand. Somewhere right now, someone is checking a schedule posted on a Sunday night. 26 hours, not the 32 they needed. No explanation, just a number from software that has never met them. They skipped lunch Wednesday, not by choice. They tell a coworker they already ate. They didn't. They don't know yet that the system isn't broken. It's working exactly the way it was built to. The same company that will one day fly an executive out to ask their opinion on strategy is currently deciding by algorithm whether they've earned the right to see a doctor. You are the same person at every title. The company just decides who you are based on what's printed before your name. The company doesn't change at every level. The company reveals what it always was.